This is the Dzogchen Semde Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. It is General Leia Organa, early Saturday morning. Come, let us meditate like a Jedi. After chanting an excerpt from the discourse or sutta on the enlightenment factors given to Arahant Kassapa, known in Pali as Bojanga, not to be confused with Mr. Bojangles. Whoops, wrong button. Let's try this again. Together. Mindfulness enlightenment factor Kassapa is well expounded, cultivated, and fully developed by me. We have evolved to notice perceptions, our sights, sounds, sensations, flavors, scents, and the like, including the full spectrum of human emotions, intentions, thoughts, memories, and imaginings. Together, mindfulness leads to special knowledge, to realization of the noble truths, and to nibbana. The first noble truth could be translated as stress. We have evolved to notice circumstantial stressors, physical stressors, interpersonal stressors, and mental stressors. The perception of stressors is not some indictment. It simply means that we are neurologically healthy, for the perception of things is fundamental to our survival. Together, vulnerable investigation of phenomena enlightenment factor Kassapa is well expounded, cultivated, and fully developed by me. Oh, look at that. Let's see. This is what we call an editing opportunity. It is a mistake to allow ourselves to be controlled by our defensive tendencies and to allow that to filter and undermine our ability to notice what's going on. Far better it is to notice vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly whatever we experience. One moment, if you please. Whether that which we experience is external or internal or physical or mental or pleasurable or painful or interesting or boring or glorious or grotesque. Together, vulnerable investigation leads to special knowledge, to realization of the noble truths, and to nibbana. The second noble truth is often translated as the cause of suffering. And simplistically, that cause of suffering is classically said to either simply be desire, or the duality of dread and desire, or the triune dread, desire, and delusion. I would tell you that's a trifle simplistic. Seen through the lens of neuroscience, we could say this. There are regions of our brain devoted to survival. So our survival as an individual and to our survival as a species. Those impulses could be described by the 6 F's. The impulse that, whenever viewing anything new, seems to ask deep, deep down, whether we know it or not, hey, that thing over there, should I fuck it? Should I feed on it? Should I fight it? Should I flee from it? Should I faint before it? Should I fawn over it? These impulses might help us live another day, but they will not give us a deeply fulfilling, meaningful life. Let's continue. Together. Energy and enlightenment factor kasapa is well expounded, cultivated, and fully developed by me. The more we play, the more we authentically practice mindfulness and meditation, perhaps once every 12 hours or so, the more our choices and utterances and deeds flow, not from contrived calculations, nor from wild scatteredness, but instead from love's deeply centered spontaneity. This is known by many names, such as right effort, or effortless effort, or doing without doing, or wu wei, or going with the flow, or being in the zone, or expedient means. Energy leads to special knowledge, to realization of the noble truths, and to Nibbana. The third noble truth is cessation. A literalist point of view would say we stop experiencing dread, the dread or desire. A nuanced point of view would say we cease being controlled by the tyranny of desire or dread or delusion or jealousy or pride. The path to that is eightfold. Together. Love's joy, enlightenment factor kasapa is well expounded, cultivated, and fully developed by me. The more we indulge our rigid and controlling tendencies, the more we over-focus, the more we overanalyze, the more we exhaust both our dorsolateral and medial prefrontal cortex, the more we will trigger our amygdala, the seat of both anxiety and aggression. However, when we cooperate with both facets of the autonomic nervous system, whose core is simply our spinal cord, we wind up automatically calming the anxiety and aggression of our amygdala, as well as gently stimulating the empathy of our anterior cingulate gyrus. One moment, if you please. When proto-Buddhism, we always have a choice between institutional Buddhism and proto-Buddhism. The essence of proto-Buddhism is the Buddha's Eightfold Path of Enlightenment. In it, we see no mention of vow, punishment, reward, good karma, bad karma, or rebirth. What we do see a mention of is loving kindness. How much is it mentioned? Loving kindness comprises 50% of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. The Buddha taught numerous times of the 4 bases of mindfulness, satipatthana. They comprise the mental, the interpersonal, the physical, and the circumstantial. 50% of the Buddha's Eightfold Path is comprised of bringing the mental into the path of kind intention, bringing our experience of the interpersonal into the path of kind communication, bringing our experience of the physical into the path of kind conduct, and bringing our experience of the circumstantial into the path of kind commerce. The highest love, perhaps this is why the late Karma Chakme Rinpoche insisted that the essence of morality is simply nonviolence. The late Tukul Tundap explained that the highest love is the spontaneous and uncontrived byproduct of simply noticing and relaxing in harmony with our inhalation and our exhalation. Let's continue. Love joy leads to special knowledge, to realization of the noble truths, and to Nibbana. The 4th noble truth is that the path to this cessation, the path to transcending the tyranny of our primal drives, is the Buddha's Eightfold Path. In fact, enlightenment is simply mastery of this Eightfold Path, getting so good at it that we practice it spontaneously, habitually, easily, and effectively. One of the great ironies is that by authentically practicing mindfulness and meditation as little as once every 12 hours, according to the Buddha, one could master this path. Well, by simply playing with mindfulness and meditation, we are able to spontaneously master the remaining 6 folds of the path. Perhaps that is why the Buddha taught that one could master his path in as little as 7 days. Let's continue. One moment, if you please. Let's just get back over here. And let's go here and make a copy. And let's hit paste. The inconvenience in today's class sets the groundwork for convenience in tomorrow's class. Please chant with me. Inhalations, coalescence, enlightenment, factor, kasapa. is well expounded, cultivated, and fully developed by me. There's much confusion surrounding mindfulness. That confusion is dispelled when we view that subject through the metaphoric lens of neuroscience. The ideal time to practice mindfulness is during our inhalation. Here's the great symmetry. As we inhale, air coalesces in our lungs. Simultaneously, we have evolved to automatically access the middle bit of our spinal cord, which functions as the core of our sympathetic nervous system, which in turn has evolved to help us to notice in a very special way, to help us to vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly notice mind's antics of perception, emotion, intention, cognition, recollection, and imagination. And so the great symmetry is that as air coalesces within our lungs during inhalation, mindfulness coalesces, our noticing coalesces in our mind simultaneously as we inhale. Together. Inhalations, coalescence leads to special knowledge, to realization of the noble truths, and to Nibbana. One moment, if you please. This is a vestigial text. I'm going to hit delete. Together. Exhalations, tranquility, enlightenment, factor, kasapa, is well expounded, cultivated, and fully developed by me. The more we play, the more we authentically play with mindfulness and meditation at least once every 12 hours, the more we automatically experience the right view of impermanence, no self, and emptiness. Don't take my word for it. Come, let us view the subject through the lens of neuroscience. So we turn our attention now to meditation. Every time we exhale, whether we know it or not, we have evolved to automatically access both the tippy top as well as the very bottom of that exact same spinal cord we mentioned a few moments ago. Both these regions, working as a team, could function as the core of our parasympathetic nervous system, which has evolved. Will help us to physically relax and mentally release during each exhalation to such a degree that which we noticed during our previous inhalation could fleetingly feel less stressful, less permanent, less defining, and even as non-graspable as a vast empty void. So we see the use of the word as, which infers we're dealing with a simile. And a simile is only as effective as it is relatable. Therefore, we have to ask, what? What is a real-world example of a non-graspable, vast empty void? Consider, if you will, the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although could look tantalizing to the eye, is literally non-graspable to our hands. So that's it. Emptiness is not a literal phenomena to be believed in or puzzled through. It's simply a figure of speech to describe a fleeting phenomena latent within each exhalation, a phenomena that can help us to let go and be more happy, healthy, and well-adjusted. But what about the mystery of no self or not self or selflessness? It's very similar to emptiness, and that is just a metaphor. Think of it this way. We have evolved to think symbolically. We have evolved to put labels on labels, on circumstances, and on bodies, and on interpersonal experiences, and on mental experiences. So every time we relax into our exhalation, whatever label or sense of self we might have noticed during our previous inhalation could fleetingly feel less stressful, less permanent, less defining, and even less graspable. That's all no self means. And when we say, having a cold is without a self, that's just a shortcut for saying, as we relax into our exhalation, whatever symptoms of a cold we noticed during our previous inhalation could fleetingly feel less stressful, less permanent, less defining, and less graspable. Does that mean the cold goes away? No, it doesn't. Someone could tell you that your lungs are without a self. Well, yes, as we relax into our exhalation, whatever lungs we noticed or whatever breathing we noticed during our previous inhalation could fleetingly feel less stressful, less permanent, less defining, and even less graspable. However, that doesn't mean we never breathe again. That doesn't mean that every breath is an indictment proving that we're not spiritual. That's just malarkey. So, no self and emptiness are just metaphors to describe the visceral experience latent within noticing and relaxing in harmony with our inhalations and exhalations. Let's continue. Exhalations, tranquility leads to special knowledge, to realization of the noble truths, and to nibbana. Remember, nibbana, or cessation, is not cessation of desire, cessation of the tyranny of desire. Enlightenment is merely mastery of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. Root together. Remedial equanimity or balance enlightenment factor kasapa is well expounded, cultivated, and fully developed by me. Equanimity, or non-duality, does not mean that we cannot tell the difference between chocolate and dog do. No, it doesn't. It simply means we apply the same remedy to everything we experience. Whether that which we experience is external or internal, physical or mental, pleasurable or painful, interesting or boring, glorious or grotesque, what do? We notice as we breathe in, and we relax as we breathe out. How do we do so? Vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly. And now let us conclude together. Remedial equanimity or balance leads to special knowledge, to realization of the noble truths, and to nibbana. Having chanted and considered this excerpt of the Bojjhanga Sutta, together let us shift gears. Let us prepare to sustainably sit and breathe and notice and relax. Let us begin by gently inviting our real or imagined subtle energies to coalesce at our crown. We do not do this to chase certain states. We do this to basically support our body in the act of sitting. And to do that, we're going to use two techniques. The first I like to call respiratory reframing. And all we're going to do is this. Every time we feel air enter our nostrils, we're going to silently and mentally recite the verb noticing. Similarly, every time we silently and mentally, every time we feel air exit our nostrils, we're going to silently and mentally recite the verb relaxing. Now, please bear this in mind. This is important. This is not concentration. We're not going to be rigid. We're still going to be practice vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly. Our mind's going to wander all over the place, and that's great. Sometimes our mind's going to wander. Sometimes it's not going to move at all. Sometimes we'll experience something interesting. Sometimes we'll experience something boring. Sometimes we'll experience something pleasurable. Sometimes we'll experience something painful. Either way, our job is to notice and relax. And remember, we don't have to force that. Our autonomic nervous system is always noticing and relaxing in harmony with our breathing, just like an app running in the background of your smartphone. The reason we play with these verbs is to remind our will, our volition, our intention that we are deliberately taking a break from the exhausting habit of actively competing against our own autonomic nervous system. Ironically, it is by cooperating with our autonomic nervous system that we are able to sustainably use all the organelles of our central nervous system in the most sustainable way. The second technique that we're going to employ to gently invite our subtle energy to coalesce at our crown is basically playing with our fingers. Let us use the tip of our left index finger to support the lower knuckle of our right index finger, palms up in our lap. In addition to using our left hand to support our right hand, we can use our left thumb in a very special way. We can touch the tip of our left thumb to the lower set of creases on this little finger. Doing so helps us to keep track of our first set of 12 inhalations. Where do we keep track of the actual inhalations? On our right hand. Every time we silently and mentally recite the verb noticing during our inhalation, we can advance our right thumb across the sets of creases found on the underside of our fingers. Let us do this together right now for about a minute. Having come to the final crease of our right index finger, we return our attention to our left thumb and advance it to the next set of creases. And so now you get the basic idea of how we can use our fingers to count 12 sets of 12 inhalations each. And remember, it's most ergonomically sound to rest our hands palms up in our lap. And if this feels overwhelming, allow me to remind you that repetition is the mother of skill. Do this twice a day with me, every day, and within a week or two, this could feel effortless. The moment you have a specific question about Buddhist philosophy or meditation, do not hesitate to type your question in great detail in the chat window, for I tend to check for questions about once every 6 minutes or so. Checking for questions. Checking for questions. Let's continue. Checking for questions. Checking for questions. Let us shift gears. Now let us gently invite our real or imagined subtle energies to coalesce in our chest, to reframe let us alter our respiratory frame of reference in the following manner. Every time we feel our chest swell with air, let us silently and mentally recite the verb noticing. Every time we feel our chest subtly sink as gently we exhale, let us silently and mentally recite the verb relaxing. But what about our fingers? Instead of using our left index finger, let's use our left middle finger to support the lower knuckle of our right middle finger, palms up in our lap. Checking for questions. Checking for questions. You have taken your first step into a much larger world. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. For Meditate Like a Jedi is made possible thanks to the generosity of viewers just like you. In approximately 9.5 hours, I would very much like to return to lead today's dusk recitation, explanation, and practice of meditating like a Jedi. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.